All right, all right, all right. All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome all. Welcome. Just gonna wait a little bit. Start around 7:05. Well, that's when the other LinkedIn people on YouTube are gonna be able to come in. I should have did this a little bit earlier, but it's all good. Thank you, Modox, for coming in. I appreciate you so far. If you can hear me, just like send a heart or type money or something like that. I appreciate that. Make sure I'm working. Oh yeah, enjoy yourself. Okay, as long as you can hear me, I'm happy. So that means I'm ready to go. Thank you, Cinnamon Clark, for joining in. This is dope. All right, y'all. So here we are at the Q&A live for the Trans Capitalist, aka me, myself, and my brand and my company. We're going to be talking about credit. We're going to be talking about partnerships and money, and it's very important that we all understand what we're talking about. And especially when it comes into relationships, it's very important to talk about money because 90% of relationships fail due to money. So I'm going to start around 1 more minute, give people 7:05 around 1 more minute for them to start and enter in. But here we go. I already know it's yeah. And if you have any questions, you can type them in the chat and we can go from there. And let's start having a conversation about money. I'm just waiting for StreamYard to waken people up and let them know it's here. I know it's Valentine's Day, so I do appreciate that you're here. I know you're on holiday, so I appreciate that you're here too. And just letting people know that I'm live. All right, 7:05. Let's get it popping. So, for anybody that is currently in here right now, please let me know if you have any questions or if you're curious about any topic. I know we said I'll talk about credit. I know I also said that I'll talk about money and relationships. I can do both. It's not a problem. Both things are very important. I know a lot of people had questions about credit cards and getting it on and popping. So if you do have a question, please type it in the chat right now and let me know what I can be of service of and how I can help you. All right. So let's get it popping until the questions start flowing. Let's talk about credit. All right. Credit's very important, especially when it comes to the LGBTQ community. Credit is a resource that we actually rely on heavily, and it's time that we understand the rules of credit cards in order to maximize them properly. Which strategy do you recommend paying down low card of the card with the highest APR? Oh, okay. Which strategy do you recommend paying down the lowest card or the card with the highest APR? I always say so psychologically and mentally, emotionally better to pay off the lowest card. It's going to feel like you make an achievement making it feel like you was able to reach that goal, which will actually motivate you to continue the method of paying down the lowest card and then tackling the next highest card. Now, the thing with the highest APR, I like to call it invisible interest. Yes, you will have interest on that APR high card, but if you're able to knock out the lowest cards faster, you won't see that much interest. And then it's going to take a longer time mentally and emotionally in order to knock out the higher APR card. So, for example, if your high APR card is at 22% and it's at like $3,000, but you have a low card that is at $500, I will highly recommend knocking out the $500 card because one, it lets you know that you can do it, it's achievable, you did it in small, simple steps. And then the amount of money, I like to call it the snowball method. I'm not sure if you ever heard of the snowball method, but using the snowball method, you are able to take that amount of money of what you paid off the $500 and apply it to the next card. So then this way you're able to knock out the high APR card, which will lower the interest as well. So I will always say go paying down the lowest card possible. You're going to feel better, you will be motivated, and it will help you in the long run when you're continuing your credit journey and also paying off a lot of debt. I highly recommend this for all my clients. Don't worry about the high APR card. Just keep focusing on those low cards. Hit the low hanging fruit. It's kind of like the same strategy. When you hit the low hanging fruit, you feel better, you get your rhythm going, you get that satisfaction, and then you're able to knock it out. Anybody else have any other questions on credit cards or strategies when it comes to credit cards? That was a very good question. I do appreciate you for asking that. So, going back to credit cards and the topic, it is always best to understand the rules of the game. Know what it means to understand how to use credit cards properly, efficiently, and to the best of your ability. Now, the thing is, when you have a credit card, always remember it is a loan. It is not your money, it is the bank's money. They're using your money that you put in the bank, loaning it out to you, and getting the interest that will pay them off. Banks usually make their money from overdraft fees and interest. So, a lot of people default on credit cards because it is the easiest way to fall into debt. It's like the slippery slope. Do not get caught up when it comes to your credit cards. You can get caught up very fast and then you'll forever be in debt. It will cause depression, it will cause anxiety, it will cause stress. Make sure you're using your way in order to understand how to use that credit card for yourself. Now, a lot of people like to see that you can have credit cards and you'll see that they'll have, oh, let me get this low interest 0% credit card for 6 months. But then you need to know what that APR rate is after that 6 months because it's going to skyrocket, and I bet you will skyrocket to over 20% APR. Having that APR is going to be a lot. And also, it's going to hurt you in the long run. So don't always fall for the scams of having it, okay, let me hit this low APR rate. No, be careful and be mindful of the low APRs. You don't want to get caught up and you don't want to fall into debt. Remember, credit card debt, and I'll repeat it, credit card debt is the fastest way to fall into debt. And a lot of people, especially in the LGBTQ world, use credit cards because we think it's a resource to find fast money. And also going into fast money is never a good thing. You always want to be able to know where your source of income is coming from because there's either always two ways to improve your sources of income. Either one, getting another job, which does kind of suck, or two, finding another source of income, or three, even cutting back on things in order to improve your source of income. This is why I want to say just be very, very careful when it comes to using credit cards. You don't want them to get you into debt. Banks are banking. Get that. Banks are banking on you to fall into debt through a credit card because they know that you will be forever tied to them using that credit card. And if you don't know how to properly use it with the rules of credit, you will forever be in debt and you will forever be in stuck. I don't want this to happen to you. Does anybody have any other questions so far about credit cards? This is the best time to ask your questions when it comes to credit cards or strategies when it comes to credit cards. This way, you'll have the upper hand and be able to get yourself out of debt, eliminate that debt, and be better. So, when it comes to debt, and especially when it comes to credit card debt, I don't want y'all to get caught up. I want you to understand that there are proper rules, methods, strategies, and techniques that can always help you eliminate debt, no matter how much debt you may have. It can range from the hundreds or it can range to the thousands. I have a proven method and strategy in order to help you eliminate that debt. I just want to let it be known right now for announcements that I will be doing a free masterclass. I wonder if anybody else would be interested on a masterclass on how to tackle debt, credit card debt. If you would be interested in a masterclass on how to eliminate credit card debt, please let me know right now by a heart or saying yes. Word. That's what I'm talking about. I think I found the topic to the masterclass. It's just that it's so important. And it's just that if you know how to handle credit card debt, you will be also be able to prove what you need to do in order to tackle that debt and know how to eliminate it. Credit card debt, I'll repeat it once again, is the fastest way to fall into debt. Hey, Calls Rain, does anybody else have any other questions around credit cards or credit card debt? This is a great time to ask. If you have want to know strategies, methods, proven facts, let me know and I got you. We can knock this out together. I just think I found a masterclass topic around this topic within itself to help you ultimately game the banking system. Because, like I said, banks get their money from fees, overdraft fees, and interest fees. And interest is all depending on your APR rate. And this is why I want you to say do not fall for high APR rate cards. They usually come in promotions where they said that they'll start with 0% and then they raise themselves up into going into, you're looking anywhere from 22 to 25%. Having a credit card with a 22 and up percent APR rate is very high. It is a very dangerous game and it is a very slippery slope. You don't want to aim for those type of credit cards. Now, there are some credit cards that will say, "Oh, we can give out promotions. You'll get cash back, you'll get these things," but still at the end of the day, the interest is going to kill you. The interest is going to keep you enslaved and it's going to keep you stuck and it's going to keep you oppressed. So this is why I want to say, if you really want to game the system, you have to understand what it means to have credit cards and how to use them. Does anybody have any questions so far? I know it's Valentine's Day, so I don't want to keep people long. Okay. I have several very high APR cards and I'm considering a rollover. How do I do that? What you would do when you're considering a rollover, all you gotta do is just contact your bank and let them know that you would like to do a rollover because they're going to have to go through the process itself of them rolling over that debt, or basically what they like to use the term of consolidating that debt into one card. Now, the thing is, you want to see before you do the rollovers if you're able to handle the card payments by itself, because at the end of the day, it's all going to accumulate into one big payment. So you might want to be careful and see if there's other options before. Hey, Duranda, what's up? How's it going? We are talking about credit cards. Does anybody have questions about credit cards? Maddox posed a very good question. So just to share a little story too, I had a lot of credit cards and even got to a point where I defaulted on credit cards, but I never consolidated my credit cards together. Even especially when I was in debt and I had a lot of debt, I knew that I was able to handle it separately by creating a strategy in order to knock it out. So they were also high APR rate cards, but then when I actually sat down and mapped them out, basically of seeing like how long is it going to take for me to pay off this card and that card, because of course you don't want to fall into predatory lending, and basically understanding that like, okay, if it feels like it's too much and there's too many different payments and too many different interests, I get it. It can get overwhelming, and then you might want to consider the rollover. But so just map it out and see. Then, if you still want to consider the rollover, contact the bank and ask them what are the options of rolling over. They'll give you a resource to let you know what would be the best method to do so. Okay. I have three cards that are almost there at their limit, and I'm having trouble making the payment. What's a good first step to maintaining my credit score? The best thing you will want to do to maintain your credit score is contact the bank and let them know that you're going through a hardship right now and see if you're able to make a payment plan with them. Now, the thing is, payment plans are amazing. When I have my clients, I let them know payment plans are the best thing you can ever do for yourself because it eases up the pressure in order to pay everything at once, because you're able to break it up into different pieces. Taking that time to break it up into different pieces and letting the bank know, like, hey, I can only pay X amount at this time, they will come up with a plan and work with you, because at the end of the day, we're in a capitalistic society and businesses can't run without what? Money. Businesses need their money from their customers. So they're going to damn sure work with you in order to get their money paid. And this way you can maintain a good credit score. Okay. Also, yeah, I'm gonna definitely do a master class on credit because I love doing credit cards. Once I learned how to master credit cards, I gamed the system, and they hate me because I'm able to improve my credit score. I'm able to, one, have the multiple credit cards as well, but then also don't have to worry about the interest because I understand what it takes, how much interest it is needed, but then most importantly, I know when it's going to be due. I want to give you this tip. Whenever you're getting your credit card statement, understand by law they are required to tell you how long it's going to take to pay off the credit card. Because if they do not, that's violating the laws of predatory lending, and it may feel like you're in debt forever and it feels like you'll never be able to pay off that credit card. This is why I continue to say that credit cards are a slippery slope. But if you look on your credit card statement and find the APR rate and also find the date when it is due, when it pays off, you are good to go. I also want to let you know another tip. Paying the minimum amount on a credit card is a death trap. It is a trap that is there on purpose that they were able to get away with to balance their greed, to let you know that, hey, okay, if you pay this minimum amount, you'll maintain your credit score. Yes, you will be able to maintain your credit score, but you'll be forever in debt, paying off that credit card for longer than you need to. This is why I say be careful when it comes to paying the minimum amount. The golden rule for paying off your credit card is always paying either double or triple the minimum amount. If you're unable to pay double or triple the minimum amount, at least pay at least $20 to $25 above the minimum amount. This way, you're actually hitting the principal and you're not paying off interest. Because I want to let you know, you can get to a point where you're paying that minimum amount, you're just paying the bank interest. So to the bank, it's like a guaranteed payment that they're getting paid for longer than they need to because you are never touching the principal amount. That is a very scary thing because this is what keeps us in debt. This is what gives us anxiety, and this is continues to oppress us. It's like having your foot on your neck. You're never gonna let go. They got you on a leash. Be very, very careful. Do do y'all understand those two last tips that I just gave out? Because those are key. Those are game. I want y'all to be able to understand. If you are not being able to pay double or triple amount, then at least $25 to that. You don't want to keep paying off interest. If you keep paying off interest, you'll never get to the minimum amount. If you're still with me, give me a heart or type in money. Let me know how we doing so far. This can be a lot of information now. I want to make sure everybody gets the information. This way it can help and see the results. Hey, Opulence. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Bet. All right. We're talking about credit cards. Do you have any questions about techniques, strategies about credit cards, or how credit cards work, or what you need to do to game the system in order to continue to have a good credit score and have a good line of credit? At the end of the day, I personally feel you don't need credit. If you're able to have capital and have cash, you don't need credit. But there are larger purchases out here in the world where they require you to have credit in order for you to buy those major purchases. I honestly still feel like you don't need that. Any other questions that y'all are worried about or just curious about when it comes to credit and credit cards? And I encourage y'all to scroll through to see the questions that have been asked in this live. All right, y'all. 7:30 we end. So I just want to let y'all know. If you have any questions, it's time now to put in some questions and get your questions answered from a trusted financial resource. Me, your family. Any other questions when it comes to credit cards? Or anything that you're curious about when it comes to credit cards? Alrighty, y'all. All right, so last announcements since we're about to end soon. There will be a free master class course on credit cards and credit scores. That is it. There will be a free master class on credit cards and credit scores. I want to be able to make sure you understand what you need to do when it comes to credit and credit cards yourself. Lastly, I have the recession proof financial freedom cohort. If you want to learn how to game the system of capitalism, how you want to thrive, have wealth, stop living paycheck to paycheck, be financially free, learn a path to wealth, learn the games to the rules of financial principles, and also learn the secrets, methods, and techniques of newly engineered financial principles that I've created. Enroll in the cohort now. This is a beta cohort, being fully transparent, but this means you get 24/7 access to my financial mind, and you're going to learn how to be stress free. We're going to address financial trauma, taxes, retirement, debt elimination, savings, everything you need to move through this capitalistic society. You will know exactly what to do. It will get to a point where you will be me, where you don't need me, but you'll be the leader in your family or your friends. That will be a financial leader, understanding exactly how to manage money, how to do your finances, how to help other people with their finances and improve their credit scores and also improve their line of credit. So please enroll in the financial cohort now. If you go to the link in my bio, you will be able to find the enrollment. Check it out. Go through the page, sign up, and let's get this money together. Because remember, 2024, we're getting money together. So be on the lookout. Be on the lookout for the free masterclass. All right, y'all. It's almost 7:30. This is where we're ending. So last call for credit cards, questions on credit cards, anything of that nature. Time is now. Alrighty. Peace.